All right. It is Sunday Night Live. Give you guys a second to get in. I kind of miscounted that countdown timer. Still working with StreamYard. Let's see who's coming in. Gray Man is second and Kim Patton is first. Wonder how that works. Do they take turns? Let me get my computer open here. How's everybody doing on this Sunday night? Yeah, let's see. Had a lot of fun on your show, Gil. So much fun. Oh my gosh. Was it 4 hours? Were we on for 4 or 4.5? I don't even know. All I know is I was like, when Courtney said, okay, it's about midnight, I was like, oh my God, it totally is way past my bedtime. I think I did turn into a pumpkin. Pretty sure. Let's see. Oh my God, it totally is way past my bedtime. Get rid of the sound on there. Perfect. Okay. All right. Got a few things coming in here. Let me load up my pages that I'm going to talk to y'all about. And let's see. There. And we're going to, hey, Bill, how are you? Happy Sunday. Nice to see you in here. Nice to see you on the live last night. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Okay. So I got a couple of things we're going to talk about today. And all right. All right. I think I got my pages loaded up here. One more. And there we go. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go, everybody. Hey, Kenny, how are you? Hey, WD. Nice to see you all here. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday. Hey, Dr. Jen, long time no talk. Good to see you all in here. All right. Hi, Lorif. Hi, everyone. I'm new. Just subbed last night after watching you on Gil's Live. Nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Always love a new subscriber. And of course, trying to bring value to everybody. That is the goal. So it makes me feel really good that you found enough value to come over and show my channel some love. So I sure do appreciate you. Trying to get to 1,000. I think I'm at 869 as of right now. So I would love if you guys, when you come in, hit the thumbs up button for me and and then share it out, please. Please and thank you. Go over here. Okay. Perfect. Okay. I got 9 thumbs up and 7 here so far. So it's usually the opposite of that. We usually don't get as many thumbs up as there are people in here. So yeah, sure do appreciate that. All right. So I'm doing something a little bit different today. Also, I am, because I'm playing around with StreamYard, I am streaming live to my Facebook page. So let's see if it's working. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm streaming live to, I have a group. I think I streamed live to my Facebook page one day last week. Okay. Yeah, here we go. So I am also streaming live to Dr. Paula's Living Well. So just testing some things out because I want to get the Living Well members. I want to get you all over onto YouTube because there's a lot more things going on YouTube, and just thought I would share with my Living Well group what we're doing over there. So So, if you're so inclined and you're watching this from Dr. Paula's Living Well, jump on over to YouTube, give the channel a subscribe so we can continue to grow. Appreciate that. All right. Thanks, Jen. Oh, 11 thumbs up now. Yeah, sweet. I love it. Okay, perfect. 603. Oh, we got Uncle Al in the house. Hey, Uncle Al, how are you feeling? Thinking about you, my friend, and sending lots of love for quick healing for you. So, yeah, great. Okay, so I wanted today, Kenny says, keeping things clean tonight. I don't know, Kenny. You know how it goes. I mean, it's kind of like things go rogue on this channel. Okay. So I can't promise anything. I can only promise that I will keep them clean enough to not get me kicked off of YouTube, I think. So yeah. So we're just gonna go there. Okay, we're gonna try it. Rogue is fun. I know. And Dr. Jen says, no, that would be boring. Yes, that is correct. So yeah, boy, we went off the rails last night. Kenny was able to jump in for a minute over on Gil's channel. And if you were on the live last night with Gil over at Campaign Family Compound and Gray Man Prepping, yeah, it was so just slightly off the rails, wasn't it? So yeah. So make sure you go and subscribe to Gray Man Prepping and Campaign Family Compound because we're going live again next Saturday because hey, this is my social life. So so what better way to spend it than with a bunch of people who I love hanging out with on a Saturday night. And Courtney was on there from Wide Family Farm, and she was super fun. Met a lot of really great people in the chat. Jumped onto another live urban family gardening. I think that was it this morning. She was on Gil's channel last night, and she had a great live this morning. So that was fun to go check her out too. And I don't know if Mr. Leto is joining us. Do you see him in the chat? I didn't see him. He might. He might. He might. I could send him a text. Tell him to jump on here. Tell him people are asking. Tell him his presence is being requested. You were the only one drinking water. I had a good rosé going, so I had a rosy glow going. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Jen. Appreciate that. I mean, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but just we were just talking. I was talking to another friend about doing all the things at no cost. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right here. Okay, so all right, so today, so last night on Gil's channel and even last week a little bit, we talked about vitamin D. We've been talking about nutrients coming into winter and vitamin D and what does that mean to you. We talked a lot about just a bunch of other nutrients, probiotics, prebiotics, but I really, really want to land on vitamin D tonight because it's super timely because we're coming into winter. Dear God, it's November 5th. I can't believe it. And everybody in my office is getting sick. Not my staff, but my patients. Everybody's getting a cold. Some people are getting something that they feel the need to go continue to test for, which I'm like, why bother? Like it's a virus. So just deal with it and get over it. And yes, it's how I feel about it. And Gil got me going on that topic of that thing and that thing that was pushed on people to not get the thing. Anyway, y'all can read between the lines on that. So yeah, so I'm telling, I'm like, this is crazy. We got to get people on high doses of nutrients, high doses of vitamin D, especially. So just a quick synopsis. So vitamin D levels go up in the summer because we spend time. Well, this is how it's supposed to work. Vitamin D levels go up in the summer. So your body's vitamin D. There he goes. There you go. See, push it. Yeah. Yeah. The dreaded red dragon poke. That's it. That was it, Gil. Thank you for that reminder. Yep. Yeah. So Bentley's going to start getting really loud now, taking his bone and pushing it all over the floor. Can you guys see him back there? Oh, my microphone's in the way. Okay. So But I actually got censored, if you can believe it, during that time in 2020 because people were freaking out. And I actually was doing videos on Facebook. I had this channel, but I really should have been over on this channel, but who knows what censoring would have taken place there too. But I ended up, I ended up, I was doing lives and videos just about every day on. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Over on Facebook. So here's what happened is I was doing lives. I know. I was doing lives on vitamin D, especially how to stay healthy, drinking enough water, exercise, going out and getting enough sunlight. I was talking about all of these natural ways that we're supposed to keep our bodies healthy. And I got put in Facebook jail 3 times that year. So, shocker, right? But the whole premise was that if there's no other option, then they could roll out this red dragon poke because they're the only way they could come up with that thing to be labeled under emergency use is if there was 0 other treatments and options for the thingy. And so yeah, so I got shut down. So now I'm able to talk about these things. I still have a little PTSD, wondering, if talking about health, wellness, and nutrition is going to ultimately get me censored at some point because they have the power to do that. So sadly, but all right. So that being said, so vitamin D is such an important component. And it has a receptor. There's a vitamin D receptor on every single cell in your body, every single one, from like the skin cell on the tip of my nose to the liver cell deep, deep in my body. So every single cell in your body requires vitamin D. If you have an autoimmune disorder, if you have any kind of anxiety, depression, skin issues, eczema, gut issues, Crohn's, colitis, celiac, non-celiac gluten intolerance, food sensitivities, anything like that. If you have a thyroid autoimmune, because I always have to remind people, hey, Dr. Ron, I always have to remind people that if you are taking thyroid medication, that is autoimmune. We are so conditioned to think that I have a thyroid, hyperthyroid, but we're not conditioned to consider it an autoimmune. We're conditioned to think it's normal, and that if I take medication, I'm normal because it's regulated. It's really kind of backwards. It's definitely backwards, not kind of. So vitamin D, if you have any of those things, you have to be taking vitamin D. And one of the things I had people doing last night in the chat was drop your number. What's your number? What were you told is normal? When you get lab work, does your doctor call you and just say, hey, your labs are normal? Or do you get a copy of your labs? You should always, always, always get a copy of your labs, whether if you go to get an MRI or a CT scan, anything like that. Make sure you ask for the report for your own records. Hey, Howie, how are you? Nice to see you here, my friend. Kenny, yes, Kenny has a question, Ron, but don't want to interrupt the chat with it. You have a question for Ron? Whose show is this? No, teasing. What's your question, my friend? Let's answer that question. Dr. Jen says as close to 100 as possible. And most people are told their vitamin D levels are normal when they're down in the 30s. So I have noticed. So that being said, now let's go. I know Ron's like, yeah. So, Ron, I could drop a link if you want to come up here. We can have a little doc talk. Yes, best to you, my friend. Yeah, and I loved your new yard, your new soil bank. And I was thinking that I could never do that in my backyard because my dog would be a mess. I love the concept. Kenny says my ancestors have the last name of Boggs. Oh, maybe you guys are cousins. So I had some blood work taken a few months ago, and my vitamin D, now anybody who knows me knows I spend a lot of time. time in the sun. If I could live outside all summer, I would. And when you see me, if you come by my house, you come in the backyard, I probably have like my bathing suit top and a pair of shorts on, and that's it. And I do not wear sunscreen. I am just out there to absorb all of the beautiful sunlight. Now we have to drink a lot of water really loudly because that's what he does. He just knows. He just absolutely knows. We're all on here. Let me read Gil's. Gil says there are several options that actually worked, but the demon rats said that all of the tests in history on them were now wrong. Last month, the truth came out. Well, that particular red dragon, the one with the M in front of it, that technology has been around forever, and they just been dying for a moment to pounce. In fact, there was also a oh shoot, I meant to pull that article up. So they're finding that babies now, I'm gonna sidetrack just for a second. They're finding that babies now, so first of all, babies are born with sterile guts because it takes about 2 to 4 years to colonate the digestive system. And we do not want babies in our bodies that long. So it's up to mom for nursing to start to colonate the gut for the baby. Well, what's happening is that there's the mRNA spike protein is in the breast milk. And when the baby's getting that, ingesting it, it actually prevents the bifidobacteria of the colon from colonating. So we are creating a whole generation of sick children. So anyone who has had that, and then who's nursing, who has kids and who's nursing, it's going to be an issue for the kids. So you have to be able to understand how to clear your body from it, which it's very difficult. That's a whole different show. We're not going to dive into that today. But then, how do you protect your baby against it? And these babies are now deficient in vitamin D as well. So it is a thread that got pulled on a very, very large sweater, and it is going to create devastating changes for generations to come, because that's what it does. It changes so that we have genetics and we have epigenetics. So the gene is the thing that gives me brown eyes and gives my hair the color. Well, not this color, but but our genes, define our expression, define who we are, and then our environment defines the expression of those genes. That's called epigenetics. But what happens when you start to do things like this is it actually will reset the gene. It will change the genes. So now it's not. It's the epigenetics that are now going to code the DNA permanently, and it can take generations to again unwind that. So let's see. Boggs is a rare name. Okay, you guys might be cousins or related somewhere. Kenny says, you two need to get a room, I swear. So Howie says, you grow a lot of food, Doc. The lawn to food garden works well. Leaves are the best. Yeah. So I did a video. You'll see that probably tomorrow. I was going to tag you in it because I knew you'd appreciate it. My brother came over with this gigantic leaf bagger and a 0-turn mower, and we picked up all the leaves, and so it mulched them, and then we put them in a pile back in the back of the yard. So I got some beautiful mulched leaves back there, and they're just gonna start composting for winter for next spring. So thank you for the thumbs up. And let's see. Howie says, I eat my vitamin D with my fish oil. Yeah. And cod liver oil is also high in vitamin D, vitamin A. Kenny says, seems I heard that line somewhere. Yeah. It was on Garden State Gardener, right? Somebody told us to go to a room. Yes, I will tag you tomorrow, Howie. So yeah, when I'm done here, I'll probably finish editing it, and then I'll put it up in the morning. So I'm going to tag you, and I'm going to tag Gil. I told Gil all about it yesterday. He did not seem very thrilled. So he was like, yeah, that's interesting. Hey, Grammy Karen, thanks for being here. Appreciate that. So we're talking about vitamin D. So going back to that. So this whole we saw a rise in skin cancer back in like the early 80s when sunscreens made an appearance. And so, people are like, oh, you got to be careful. You shouldn't be in the sun. Oh yeah, I burn really easily. I've got melanomas. We didn't see those kinds of cancers again until sunscreens made an appearance. And listen, you guys, I used it. I mean, who didn't love the smell of copper tone, right? I mean, that was like, oh my God, the coconutty, oh my God, it like defined summer, didn't it? I often wonder like who sat in a lab and created that smell that just became so memorable. Like when I say that right now, every single one of you, the smell I'm talking about, right? And you're like, oh, like it just creates that memory. So Kenny says he went in the room. He went and got the room. He waited for hours. I'm sorry, Kenny. Wait, were you waiting for me or Ron? New blood video tomorrow. Yeah, I saw part of that. That was really interesting. I was doing that for a while. And then I got a little bit of a hand slap because in the state of Michigan, we're not supposed to, well, at least at the time, we weren't supposed to do blood work, but now we can. So whatever, it's such bureaucracy. Gil, you hated the smell? God, I loved it. Yeah, and Ron, it did. It smelled like Florida. Like I feel like that's one of those smells. If I said, what is the weirdest bad smell that you love, right? Like when you go fill up at the gas station. Like I was like, oh my God, what is it? What is it with those fumes? And sometimes even like diesel smells good. It's so weird. I don't know. What's the weirdest smell that you remember that you really like? The smell of summer, Bill. Yes. Grammy Karen says, still makes me smile when I smell it. I know, it's so crazy. So going back to that, so we start slathering these chemicals on our skin and we see the rise in skin cancers. And we also saw a rise in other cancers. And anyone who has had cancer, so if you are here, the fumes at a carnival, right? Yeah, all that, the diesel, and then the with the elephant ears, right? You get the little cinnamon smell that runs through the the diesel fumes. Oh my gosh, so funny. Yes, the fumes at a carnival. Let me see. Oh, thank you. Okay, so Facebook user is, hold on. I gotta see who that is. So I'm in StreamYard, and if you I think there's something you have to do to hold on, because I can't see who you are and it's not coming up in the chat here, or is it coming up over here? Let's see. So in order to see somebody's name, Gil, what do I have to do? Gil's my StreamYard teacher. Oh yeah, Hawaiian Tropic. That was the one I was thinking of, was the coconut one, Hawaiian Tropic. Yeah. And then Copper Tone had that other, they all were like, yeah, so good. Let's see, is anybody, sorry guys, I'm just I'm going into the group here. Okay. Okay, so whoever said love the hair, and thank you. So see how it says Facebook user? I think you have to go subscribe to the channel. That tells me that you're probably coming from the stream, the Facebook stream. So I need to know who you are, because I want to know who you are. And I don't want you to be sad because I probably know you. Okay, so here we go. All right. And that was the one I was thinking of, was the coconut. Sorry, guys. Hawaiian Tropic. Yeah. And then Copper. Oh, it's Brandy Morgan. There we go. Hi, Brandy. Okay. I found you in the chat on the Facebook group. So, all right. Brandy's my girl. It's good to see you here. Thank you. Appreciate you jumping on. Yay. Oh, so that's cool. So StreamYard is combining my Facebook stream with the YouTube stream so I can see everybody. So that's pretty cool. All right. So going back, so vitamin D. So that's a little bit of the history. And that we really started getting all of these diseases when we stopped allowing our bodies to absorb the sun, and then we get obsessed with it, right? And when I'm at a pool or a beach somewhere, and I see parents just slathering their kids in sunscreen, and then fully clothing them, and these poor kids, they don't have a chance. So excuse me. So really important that we start to recognize that if you could use things like coconut oil, shea butter, beef tallow, all of those were used like way back when. Well, beef tallow was used way back when as a sunscreen. And so, those are natural things that you can put on your skin that actually nourish the skin. So, people are like, oh, they spent too much time in the sun, they have leather skin. You only get the leather skin if you slathered on the sunscreen and you've depleted your skin of the vitamin D, because you need vitamin D for your skin. So, I mean, does my skin look like I've been a sun worshiper since I was, 7 years old? I loved being in the sun. This is 57, right? This is 57 years old. So, so sun is your friend. So don't be afraid of it. So then the life cycle. Hey, Urban Gardening. I was just talking about your channel this morning, jumping on your live. Appreciate you jumping on here. So go give Urban Gardening Chronicles a follow or a subscribe. She's got a great channel over there. So the way that it should work is that we spend enough time in the summer, our vitamin D levels go up, they get really high because we are allowing our bodies to absorb the sun's rays naturally, and then our body converts it. And so we're basically filling the tank. And then as the vitamin D levels start to lower, we start to come into winter because we're not spending as much time in the sun. And so that's when it's really important that we have to start to, it is fat soluble, so it won't last you all winter, especially in these colder climates. So this is when we really have to start to take note of what our levels are. So if you take your level in the middle of summer, it's probably going to look very different than in, so June to December. If you take those levels and you haven't been supplementing, but you've been in the sun without sunscreen, you're going to see a difference. You're going to see a drop. So now you have to really boost it. Kenny says, look at Kenny. Thank you. So sweet. Hey, Mama G Bear, how are you? Hugs to you too. Nice to see you here. And then look at all my guys. Look at all my guys here. Stop. I mean, don't stop. No, don't stop. No, don't really don't stop. No. Okay. So how much do we take? So the RDA, the recommended daily allowance, and this is where people get freaked out about how much vitamin D should I take. And again, going back, if you have any health issue whatsoever, even chronic pain, any kind of inflammation, if you have headaches, if you have, that's magnesium too, but you need that vitamin D. If I said it's like there's one magic thing that you need to be taking, you got to get on the vitamin D. Personally, my vitamin D level came back at 50. It was like 54, I think, when I took it a few months ago. And I was like, whoa. And I think that was probably May. So I'd been out in the sun a little bit, but the summer hadn't come yet. So I'm taking 5,000 a day, and I spend a lot of time in the sun. So I would encourage any of you, if you're just really, really, if you're light, if you're pale, if you burn easily, that means you probably need to be taking 5,000 to 10,000 a day. But before you take that 10,000, I would definitely get the number. If you have your labs and you know the number, get that number. So in traditional medicine, the range for traditional medicine goes from like 30 to 70, I think, something like that. And so if you're in the 30s, your doc's like, yeah, you're fine. Your vitamin D level is fine. In functional medicine, we're looking to fill your tank to a point that is actually giving you good health and vitality. And so we want that vitamin D number over 75, right? So push it up towards 100 if we can get it to 100, especially in the winter. When you are taking the RDA, which is 400, so I'll say to people, are you taking vitamin D? Yeah, I think it's in my multivitamin. When you say I think it's in my multivitamin, that's basically saying no, you're not taking vitamin D, because you if you knew, you would be like, yes, I'm taking a standalone vitamin D. So vitamin D is a large molecule. They can't fit 5,000 units into a multivitamin. And about the most you're going to get in your multivitamin is maybe 400 to 600. So that 400, I think the RDA for in the US is still 400. I don't think they upped it. Georgia Stone, girl, nice to see you here. Oh my gosh, how are you? Hey girl, she's raising babies. She's a busy mama. I'm so glad you stopped in. We are talking health and vitamin D, helping everybody get healthier for the winter. Idaho Garden Girl, hey girl, nice to see you. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button when you come in here. I appreciate that. Yes, smash it, Gil, smash it. Yes. Yeah, Georgia, nice. Thank you for showing up. So let me look up the USRDA for vitamin D. I should have Gil do this. Gil's like okay, so it's 600. All right. So 600 units of vitamin D is what the government says that you should be getting daily. That is it's just enough to keep you from getting rickets, which is soft bones. So I actually think it's 400 is the ricket zone, but I mean 600. Do you think that's going to help you? Your D levels, in order to get them to 80 to 100, you've got to be taking 5,000 to 10,000 a day, depending on where it's at now. Now, also, if you are someone who has historically used sunscreen all your life, maybe you've had a stint with skin cancer or any other kind of cancers for that matter, then definitely get your vitamin D level checked and start to amp up that dose. Your energy will change, your sleep patterns, you will sleep better. Hey, Jujubee, thank you for jumping in here. Jujubee says 30 to 50 is the normal range on my LabCorp. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was 30 to 70 or 30 to 50. Yeah, and 74 scares the doctors. It scares them because they don't know. So let's think about this. How many people do you know have gotten sick from vitamin D sufficiency, too much vitamin D? And how many people do you know that are sick? I would pose the question, how many people do you know that are sick from vitamin D deficiency? We don't know that because I know that because I see it. You guys don't know it because most people don't make the connection. They don't know how important this one hormone is to have in their system. And then, of course, how much they need to be taking to improve their health. And you're right, Ron, absolutely no one. Let's see. So Urban Gardening says, yeah, so she's got her family on 5,000 at minimum. Yes. So important. And so the darker the skin, the harder time we have absorbing the vitamin D. So definitely know that number and make sure you're taking that's why I think mine's only 54. Because I'm Middle Eastern, right? So I tan really easy. If you're outside in the sun for 20 minutes, your body will produce about 25,000 units of vitamin D. So going back to that, it scares your doctor, going back to here real quick, that your vitamin D is 74, which is so much better than the average bear. I mean, that's fantastic that you have a 74. And again, your doctor's probably seeing, I'm assuming that's a medical doctor, probably seeing some very sick people and has no idea that they're sick because their D is too low, because he or she is telling them that they're not taking or they're taking too much, or they're normal at 40 or 35. So yeah, it's this is where getting yourself armed with information is really, really important, which is, again, is my goal for this channel, is to be able to bring this information to you, because I want everybody to be super healthy. I just feel like, um, you know, I feel like there should be like some cheesy music that's going to start to play, but just think about this. The healthier people are, the nicer they are, right? Wouldn't we live in it? The world would be such a better place if everybody just felt better. Because how many patients tell me, and Dr. Ron and Dr. Jen, you guys can probably vouch for this, is that when, and Georgia, people you're working with, you guys could probably vouch for, when you're working with people who are in pain, they will tell you, I'll say, how's it affecting your life? Well, I'm cranky. I got a short fuse. I'm like snapping at my kids. That's what happens when people are in pain and they don't feel well and their health is challenged. So yeah. Okay. Kenny says, I really am paying attention. What are these numbers you're throwing out again? Okay. Oh, how far back do I have to go now, Kenny? Let me think. So, all right, if this is what you're talking about that, what should your vitamin D level, what does your doctor say, and what should it be? Clarify that question, and then I'll answer. Bill's asking Jujubee if you took your name from the fruit. Gil, is your internet's acting up again? So I had actually, so I have created another podcast on Thursdays, which a lot of you jumped in last Thursday, with my good friend, Dr. Erica Peabody, at 1:00 every Thursday Eastern time. And we're going to come to you for 30 to 45 minutes and talk to you about, and I named it Chiropractic is Sexy. And we're going to talk about health, wellness, chiropractic. We really want more people to know how living a chiropractic lifestyle, what having chiropractic in your life, how much more impact it can have on your level of health. And so, she had said, I don't know if I like the name Chiropractic is Sexy, because of, we have to take these courses that they're called sexual boundaries and ethics, right? So basically, I always joke around. I'm like, oh yeah, we have to go take that course to teach us not to have sex with our patients. Like, it's so dumb. And not to say that there's people in every profession who are out of line with people, right? With their clients, with patients, whoever it is. But anyway, so she was concerned about using the word sexy with chiropractic, that it would, it was like, because it's like pounded into us, watch your sexual boundaries. Well, listen, we're chiropractors. Like, we are crawling all over people all day long, and we have to be able to do it, or we can't adjust them. But there's a proper way to do it, and there's not. And I told her, I said, listen, I go, think about it like this with chiropractic, is that when you're under chiropractic care, you stand up straighter, you have more confidence, you feel better, you sleep better, your pain goes away. Like, what is sexier than somebody who is walking around happier and having a greater impact on the world in that respect, right? She was like, oh, I like that. That's a really good point. So anyway, chiropractic is sexy. That's what we're doing. So hope you all will jump in and join us. Let's see. Dr. Jen says, my LabCorp report from April says normal is 30 to 100. Yeah, I wonder if each lab you go to might have a different range. But again, and it depends on who's interpreting it, is that that 30, if you're at 35 or 40, your medical doctor is going to tell you it's still normal. So yeah. Well, hi, Ray. What is latitude? What are you asking? Jujubee says, my 74 is because I take 50,000 D3 a week. Lupus is the devil. I don't absorb the sun, or D2. I've agreed to test every 12 weeks. And if I break 100, we can intervene. So that's awesome. And so making sure you're taking that, is that a prescription, but it is D3. So that's good. And then, has it helped? So drop a comment. How has it helped you? And knowing, and bravo to your doctor for helping you understand that that's a critical component of lupus. So let's see, Kenny. So Kenny, okay, listen, you asked me in the beginning of this if I was going to behave, right? Did I need to ask you if you were going to behave? So um they might not feel well, right? Like I know people who look fit and they are so sick. And that is the misnomer, is that we have people who are, they're not well. They're walking around sick, and and when you are sick and you don't feel well, you're cranky. And so, so I know, gosh, I have one patient who, she's really fit, but she's in chronic pain. She's got severe gut issues. So you would look at her, you go, wow, she's in really good shape. But she's got severe gut issues. She has anxiety. She never stretches. She has zero flexibility. And when I work on her, she's like trying to work on a brick freaking wall. So yeah, people can look fit, but they are not healthy. So it's really what's on the inside. Mama G Bear says, I was told not to take too much vitamin D because it's stored in your fat cell by one doctor. Another doctor said we don't get enough from the sun. Confusing. It is a fat soluble vitamin, and you do store it. But the best source of it, so you can take cod liver oil, you can eat egg yolks, you can eat organ meats, but most people are deficient. And that's the comment I was making earlier, is that we just aren't getting enough from the sun, and we're blocking the sun's rays with sunscreen. So don't be afraid to take the D. And if you are afraid, get the number. So get a baseline and then start dosing from there. And then you can see, and then redo it in 6 months. So, and that's one way to do it, because again, how many people do you know who've gotten sick from vitamin D sufficiency, too much vitamin D? And how many people do you know that are chronically ill? And every single person who has a health issue is vitamin D deficient. It's hard to be normal when your pain levels at 68. Is that you right now, Uncle Al? Uncle Al took a really bad fall. So everybody send Uncle Al some love. Drop a heart in the comments for him, because we're just praying for your fast healing. So yeah, hoping you get well soon. And you're right? So when you're he's in pain, and you're frustrated, because then also it's disruptive to your life. And nobody wants that. We want to be like moving along through life and, contributing, and yeah. So yeah, sending you love for sure. Let's see if I'm taking D3 okay. So Kenny's clarifying, if I'm taking vitamin D every day and these numbers said it. Oh, okay. So not an ignorant, there's no dumb questions, Kenny. So the lab norms are, and we've already seen that some LabCorps will show differently, 30 to 50, 30 to 70, 30 to 100. You want your vitamin D number up over 80, really. Like in functional medicine, it's like 75 to 110. But if you go 80 to 100, if you push that envelope, you're going to be a lot healthier. But your medical doctor is probably going to tell you your D levels are normal if you're between 30 and 40. And so that's where the danger comes in. Idaho Garden Girl says, I take 5,000 units of D. My labs in late June said I have a 59. Yeah. And I know you're outside all the time. Go follow Idaho Garden Girl. She's got a great channel. She's, I'm like so jealous of all those little grape tomatoes that what was that? Like 7 pounds of little grape tomatoes. Oh my gosh. So delicious. Yeah, go follow her channel. And she's outside all the time. And yeah, so that's the same. But see, I don't take D in the summer because I think I'm getting enough being out in the sun all the time. So that's also, another misnomer. So even in the summer, I've got to be supplementing. Dr. Ron says, pain induces fight or flight response, which induces adrenaline flow. So sleep is interrupted, which starts a negative cycle, which is difficult to break out of. And that's so Such a great comment because um, if you are not sleeping, you are not healing. And so pain, the stresses of everyday life can affect your sleep patterns dramatically. And so we want you sleeping well. So that's another key critical component. If you are not sleeping, you probably also need vitamin D. But, and we talked about this last night, when do you take vitamin D? I need you all to hear me on this, is that vitamin D must be taken in the morning when you get up. In the morning, like midday is fine, but do not take it at night. I've had so many patients tell me they're taking their D at night and they can't sleep. And then when they make the switch and they take it during the day, they're like, okay, I can sleep well now. So here's what happens. Vitamin D is the sunshine. It's your sunshine hormone. So when the sun comes up, you're supposed to wake up. And so there's sunshine there, right? And so melatonin goes down. Melatonin helps you sleep. That's another hormone. And so we get the sunshine during the day. And then as we start going through the day, your cortisol levels start to balance out and they start to go down and your melatonin starts to go up. That's what makes you sleepy. But then if you come in and you take vitamin D, let's say at 8 o'clock at night, you're going to go to bed at 9 or 10, suddenly your melatonin that's been coming up like this to help you go to sleep, boom, you drop it, you suppress it. And so now it prevents you from getting into sleep and it prevents you from either falling asleep or staying asleep or, getting good solid sleep. So only take your vitamin D during the day. I did a video on this a long time ago, but it probably, because we're coming into this fall, it probably warrants another one. So yeah. So your vitamin D that you process depends on latitude, region, and where you live. It really depends on your skin tone. So if you're near the sun, if you're near the equator, if you're somewhere where there is more sun, obviously you're going to get more exposure. But then it's all dependent. So that's when I was saying I tested and I was only 54 and I spend so much time in the sun. So yeah, my numbers would probably be higher if I lived in an area that had more sun, more year round. So Jujubee says, no one wants to help me. 3 a.m. rabbit hole found that D3 is better absorbed than D2. Yeah. And most of the time, I had to fight for the prescription at a D level of 13. So Jujubee, you can go here. I'm going to drop this in the chat for you guys. So this is from my online store, and this is vitamin D3 with K, and this is 10,000. Now, I also have a vitamin D3 5,000 with K. But here, you can go order that. So one pearl gel is 10,000. So if you were taking, was that you who said you were taking 50,000 a week or something like that? I forgot who was saying that. So yeah, so that's 10,000 per tiny pearl gel. And it's high quality D3. So D2, if a lot of times doctors will give you a prescription and it's D2, but it's synthetic D2. And you don't want to take any synthetic vitamins. They don't absorb very well. And it's just not good high quality. So there's a link to my online store. So feel free to jump in there. If you have any questions, let me know. Let's see. I answered Kenny's question. I hope that helps, Jujubee. And yes, you're right. Like it is a rabbit hole. And did you say 3 a.m. rabbit hole? I hope you didn't take that D at night that was keeping you up, so you went down the rabbit hole at 3 a.m. Yeah. And according to my dermatologist, I was like, aren't you the skin skin doctor? If my D was absorbed through the skin, and so much vitamin D poor vitamin D will affect the your skin as well. So It affects everything. Like if you have anything, you can probably assume you have low vitamin D. And I'll tell you, like this past couple weeks. So again, my patients have been coming in. Everybody's sick. I actually haven't been sleeping well. I'm a little congested. I upped my vitamin D. I mean, even more. Like I had been taking 5,000. I'm taking 10,000, and then I'm like really loading up on my I'm taking quercetin, which helps with it's like a natural antihistamine. So I'm moving into all my immune products, which I think maybe next week we'll go into that, and I can tell you guys what to stock up on for immune. Gil, are you still here? So Gil, I'm going to be on Gil's channel next Saturday night at 8 o'clock. So feel free to jump in and join us there. And we've been talking about a lot of this too. But Gil had done a video on prepping for winter and making sure like you have like, different, like your medications and things. But I think also next week I'll address what are all of the natural remedies that you need to have. We did a little bit of that on one of my lives a few weeks ago, but I think I'll get a lot more specific about it. So, okay, so let's see. And Uncle Al says, I eat organ meats. Do not be afraid of organ meats. Oh my gosh, I grew up on chicken livers and sweetbreads, and yeah, I mean, they're so healthy for you. We've just been so indoctrinated to think that organ meats are bad and sun is bad, and all of these. And listen, a lot of this is politically driven and monetarily driven, right? So, gosh, I was watching a documentary today, not a documentary, an interview today on vitamin D. It was more vitamin D, and it was Kellogg and Kellogg, and I have to go back and look up this story because I was like, what? It was the craziest thing. So so they did not want there was something super religious going on with them, and they didn't want people to eat meat because basically it made them horny. So yeah, they didn't want them to eat meat or organ meats or anything like that because it fuels your body, it promotes your hormonal system. And so yeah, so that's how a lot of those a lot of that food like substance, they're like, let's just put sugar in a box and tell people to not eat meat and deprive them of it. So yeah, it was crazy. I'm gonna look further into those stories, and I'll keep you posted on that. So where did I see Paula joined hey Paula, it's P squared in the house. Nice to see you. Kenny's been behaving, Paula. Well, no, he didn't behave. Kenny asked me if I was going to behave, and he went off the rails a few questions ago. I heard, oh wait, let's see what this one is. I heard that you pee out vitamin D if you take too much as a supplement. So vitamin D is fat soluble. So that means it gets stored in the fat and then it gets used as your body needs it. So the only fat soluble vitamins are vitamins A, D, E, and K. And so you do want to take D with K because it's synergistic and you get more absorption in there. Your water soluble vitamins, C, your B vitamins, your minerals. This is why I always recommend when you're taking those vitamins, those nutrients, is put them in a water bottle. I put mine in, like, I put my electrolytes and my C in my water bottle, and then I drink part of it, and I just keep topping it off, and I drink it slowly over time, because then I'm slowly bathing my cells over the course of the day versus, let's say, taking 5,000 units of vitamin C. Then my body's going to use what it needs, and then I'll pee out the rest. Well, I want it to utilize all that it can. So Uncle Al says, does goat brains count as organ meat? Yeah. So in Lebanese culture, brains, the glands, like we eat every part of the animal, lamb tongue, I mean, everything. So anything that is an organ is, yeah, considered an organ. Jujubee says, my pain has been for 7 years. Now I'm at 4 or 5, working out, slowly starting to lift weights. I'm down at 11 prescriptions. Holy crap, from 13 to 2. Wow. I have to think adding vitamin D3 and cutting gluten. Yes. Cutting out gluten dairy is always a good option. Those are two really highly allergenic foods. Howie says he has to go move his boat. See you, Doc. See you, Howie. I'll tag you on that video that I put up tomorrow. Always appreciate you stopping by. Everybody say goodnight to Howie and go follow Food Forest Permaculture. He's awesome. Lots of great fun things that he's doing every day. So thanks for stopping in, Howie. Mama G Bear. Unfortunately, I have ARFID. So I don't even know, what is that? I've never heard of that. So what is a good brand of supplements? And I'm going to drop the link to my online store, and you guys can, these are one of the highest quality supplements you can possibly get. So poke around on there. There are discounts available, 20% off of your first order, 10% on anything you need to put on auto ship. And if you have any questions, let me know. So let's see. Yes. Stop covering up, whether you're slathering on sunscreen. So a lot of people will put sunscreen on and then put on like long sleeves and pants and, or like their kids, right? So if their kids are out at the beach, the kids are in long sleeves with the neck thing up to here, and then, and they're slathering them. So yes, you need to be exposing as much of your skin as possible. And don't be afraid of it. It's so good for you. You are welcome, Mama G. I'll put that up there. So there's the link. I did put the link in there. And yes, D2 is synthetic. The insurance company pays for it. Yeah, the insurance company pays for it, but they're not going to pay for any high quality supplement, right? Yes. Yes, Jujube. I want D3 from animals. Yes. The one I have is from lanolin, from sheep. And it's made with olive oil. So Uncle Al's having some issues with his internet. Let's see. What do we say? My husband's a soldier, so dealing with army doctors is tough at times. Yes. Yes, they do. Oh my gosh. And the unfortunate part is that, when people want to go to the VA, they end up having to make a choice because their insurance is going to pay for it. It's like, so they can't do what they want to do. Dr. Jen says if supplementing with D3, it must be combined with K2 or citric acid, or your body cannot absorb it. I would avoid the citric acid, just because unless you know the source of it. Most citric acid is from corn, GMO corn. Yeah, and if you're supplementing, your labs still show you're low, then you have an absorption issue. Then we should probably do an organic acids test, and we should probably check your gut bacteria and see maybe you have like a candida infection, some mold. If you have mold exposure, if you have SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, if you have poor hydrochloric acid. So that's another one. If you find yourself having GERD, acid reflux, if you're taking Tums, if you are taking proton pump inhibitors, so like Nexium, and I forget the names of all of them, but you guys know, if you get acid reflux, you go take that pill that it blocks the pumps from producing acid. But really what you need is more acid. So you should probably take like betaine hydrochloride is really helpful. I talked on Gil's channel on last night. We were talking about that, and I said apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons in a little bit of water several times during the day, especially right before meals, is a great way to test to see if you actually need more acid. If you are on proton pump inhibitors of any kind and you go off, you usually have a rebounding effect, which means that because the pumps don't know what to do. Jen's sending me her labs. So the pumps don't know what to do. So you stop taking it, and now suddenly they're like, what? And they go have a party and they start firing everywhere. So if you are on PPIs, we have to wean you off of those, and we have to use specific nutrients that basically retrain the pumps in the stomach how to function, how to work again. We have to give it a specific form of zinc. We have to give it specific nutrients so that they know what to do when food comes in and how to digest properly. So if you are taking D, if you are not absorbing properly, then there's an overall absorption issue that probably needs to be addressed. Dr. Jen says, check your magnesium levels. Yeah, or just assume we're all deficient in magnesium. If you have headaches, if you don't sleep properly, if you have fatigue, if you have joint aches, joints pain, magnesium. If you have a lot of muscle tension, muscle tightness, that's a magnesium issue. If I'm having a hard time adjusting somebody because they have so much tightness and tension, they need magnesium. Most of us need some level of electrolyte, which magnesium is a mineral. So I'll give you guys this one. So this is my favorite. This is what I put a packet of this in my water every day. And I put a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and I put about 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C in my big water bottle. And then I drink a little and I keep topping it and keep topping it. So yes, it's the vitamin C that you'll pee out. So that's why, Laura, if you were over on Gil's channel, I think maybe, is that you said you came from there? Yeah, so that's why I said drink your vitamin C over the course of a few hours, so you absorb as much of it as possible. Yes, Idaho. I think I should up my D3 to 5,000 and retest in December. Yeah. Magglycinate. Yeah, we've talked about that. We've talked about the multiple forms of magnesium. Magglycinate is going to be your best form for muscle tension. Magnesium threonate is going to be for brain. And then there's other magnesiums for other things. So there's so many different magnesiums that you can take. So, you have me intrigued, Jujubee. Can we dive deep, Alice? The doctor once said it's dangerous to take any D if you're obese because it stores in fat. So if you lose fat, you can become toxic real quick. Okay, what's that? What's the emoji? Can I just do that right now? How's that for an answer, Jujubee? What? I can't even give that an answer because it's the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. Everybody's saying goodbye to Howie. Bill. Bill looked at, thanks, Bill. Avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna have to look at that. Yeah. Bill and I are still looking for an apple press, you guys. He's got all these beautiful apples and we're trying to make hard cider. So I think I'm just going to buy an apple press, Bill. All right. Can we just do that? Let's just do it. I think we'll just do it. We'll have our own equipment and we'll start making cider. I talked to Dan. He's got the carboys. We're ready to go. Let's see. Ron is still here. Ron, can I give you my email address and run a few things by you? You two do need a room, man. No, I'm teasing, so teasing. Kenny, if you want to drop your email address into Facebook Messenger, and I can give that to Ron for you. I'm happy to do that for you guys. You guys also have a very similar sense of humor, so you're gonna, yeah, you're gonna enjoy each other's friendship for sure. Oh, never mind. Kenny just dropped his email in there for everybody to see, so it's okay. That's all good. Did you see you saw Kenny's email address there, Ron? Idaho Garden Girl says, in warm weather, I wear shorts and sleeveless tops. I wear a large brim hat. People are horrified when they learn I don't put sunscreen on my face. I do put jojoba oil. Yeah, I think jojoba has a little bit of sunscreen in it, doesn't it? So I make a body butter that has shea butter, coconut oil, and grapeseed oil. And so shea and coconut both have they're about a 6 naturally. And that's all I use for sunscreen. And it's natural. There's tons of nutrients in it for skin health and skin elasticity. So I'll use it like during when I'm outside, I'll use it after. And that's, yeah, if you can use something good and healthy, coconut oil, again, tallow, beef tallow works well too. Yeah, Dr. Jen, the Endura by Metagenics is, it's my favorite. Yes, and I did. So everybody knew what I was doing, right? What? When these doctors, like, do they hear themselves when they say these things? I don't know. What are they saying? Um, there isn't, Laura. So it'll automatically apply a 20% discount on your first order. And then if you, whatever you order, like let's say you put D on there, I think it's a 60, if you get the 10,000, I think it's either a 30 or a 60 day. If you put it on a 30 or 60 day auto ship, you'll get 10% off anything that you put on auto ship. So yeah, it'll automatically apply on there. Jujube's coming back with more humor for us. He was like, if you take D, it stores in fat and then you lose it, releases too much in your blood. I mean, like for real, like what are you going to lose? Like 10 pounds in a day? I mean, it's just not, it's just, can I do this again? Somebody dropped that little emoji for me. Okay, Jujubee, Joe is going live. Oh, you're modding for him. Okay, yeah, I was on Garden State Gardener last Sunday. Okay, I'll probably jump over there when I'm done here. So have fun. Great to see you. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it. And yeah, Joe actually asked me to come back in December. So you'll be seeing me over there as well in a few weeks. So yeah, Garden State Gardener, go follow him too. Really fun channel. He's doing some fun things over there. Yeah, Jen, this is asking for scientific research articles. I've never heard such a thing. Yeah. Let's see. Got the email, send a quick message. Let's see. I saw Paul Saladino has a great recipe for sunscreen that uses tallow as the base. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why, I mean, I like the one I created because I have, it's all natural too. So the shea and the coconut oil, and it works amazing. I use it every day on my face, on my skin. I use it every day. And again, that's probably why this 57-year-old complexion looks the way it is. So yeah. And I've made my own sunscreen, but I don't use it. Like I have the powder, the non-nano powder that I've actually mixed in with my my body butter or just oil, put it in a jar and just shake it. And it works just fine. Thanks, Paula. Appreciate it. There we go. There's my yep. Let's see. Your new son-in-law, who you adore, is an MD. We have exchanged thoughts. He's coming around to our thinking. Oh, that's good. That's really good. So I like to hear that because we need more MDs. Thanks, Jen. We need more MDs to not be telling people this nonsense. You know, we get so afraid to challenge our doctors, ask questions. Well, why would you say that? Why is that? I have a patient who came in the other day. He's been a patient for a couple years now. He feels amazing when he's under chiropractic care. He lives a really healthy lifestyle. And he went to his doctor for his annual physical, and his doctor said, are you doing any, seeing any other doctors, doing anything else, for your health? And he said, well, yeah, I go to the chiropractor. And his medical doctor said, no, I mean a real doctor. And I'm like, and so then his doctor asked him if he'd had a prostate exam prostate exam. And he said, well, I have to, I'm going to check with my urologist. And the medical doctor said, well, I can do that for you. And I said, so did you say to him, no, I'd actually rather go to a real urologist to do that? Like, It's like so dumb. Like, stop. At the end of the day, this is about helping people. I've told you guys, I have what made you OMG Idaho Garden Girl? There's so much in there. I have a patient who I had to send over to a friend of mine who does decompression. He's got like, we're trying to keep him out of surgery. He's been a patient of mine for like 18 years. He's a farmer. He's in severe pain, but we're doing it. Like, we're doing it. And I said, go see my friend. So he comes to me to get adjusted, and he goes to my other chiropractor friend to do this spinal decompression. And then I sent another patient over there who was having some pretty severe back pain, but he doesn't take care of himself. And he said to me, he said, I thought you were sending me to a decompression specialist. And I said, I did. And he goes, well, you sent me to a chiropractor. And I go, he is a decompression specialist. So there goes Bentley again. So he said, well, he's your competition. Why would you send me to your competition? He could steal me away from you. And I'm like, listen, this is about helping you. Like, this is what medical doctors do, right? They don't want to tell you what other options, because they don't really know. And then they don't believe in them, but yet then they can't help you within this tiny toolbox that they have. And so yeah, he said, oh, he could steal you away from me. Or steal me away from you. And I go, dude, if going to him helps you get better and you prefer to continue to see him, then have at it. Like, that's my end goal here. So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I've used my shea butter, and it's gotten rid of like little scaly sun bumps. So yeah, it's actually, there's so many nutrients that are so healing to the body in those natural butters, and that's what we should be using. So years ago, I asked him what scurvy is. He's come around to holistic. Did he know what scurvy was? When you got into practice, this happened to me. What I was just saying about you sending somebody to somewhere, or which part? Yeah. So that's, again, that's what it's all about. So that's what I'm trying to bring you guys. It's the information that I want to bring to you is, how can I best serve you through good information, solid information? It is a world of confusion. I mean, what we talked last Sunday about how that study came out of Harvard. And again, you think, oh, Harvard study came out that said if you eat meat, you're 60% more likely to get type 2 diabetes. It's just BS. You're 60% more likely to get type 2 diabetes if you drink 5 sodas a day. So you're going to compare eating meat to 5 sodas a day or a week. I'm sorry. I mean, like, soda consumption and meat, it's 2 completely different things. And it did not actually even, it didn't ask people if they were soda consumers. And the people who got type 2 diabetes these are just these questionnaires that they send people, hoping that they'll remember what they ate yesterday. And so in the process of this, they put people in different categories in the study. And the people who got diabetes over this, I forgot how many years of the study it was, they they didn't exercise, they were already obese, they did not lead healthy lifestyles, they ate highly processed foods. So they were already leading a life that was going to lead them down a path of type 2 diabetes. So yeah, it gets confusing. But when you just see the headline that eating meat causes type 2 diabetes, now you know what that's doing. Because I'm going to touch on this again. We talked about it last week, is that the drive is to get you away from meat and onto these fake meats, because Tyson just bought into bugs, right? You guys remember that? If you were on last week. So Tyson is investing in this company called, it's a minority stake in Protix, Protix. And it's a U.S. insect ingredients facility. and so that they can get insect meal and start adding that to their foods. So, there's that. So that's the thing, right? So there's this push to get you away from good high quality meat and then get you eating bugs and fake meat. Like gross, really gross. Um that study counted lasagna as red meat. Yeah, I believe it, right? And nor did it count red meat as like, was that a hamburger from McDonald's? That's the thing. It's such horrible, horrible reporting. So when I saw that headline last week, I was like, I actually started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, this one's going to be really good. But again, that's the confusion because a lot of people don't know enough to question. That was the one thing we got into with on Gil's channel last night was, yeah, I'm not eating insects either, Idaho. Um, so, um, but that was one thing we got into there was that it's the get you confused, get you just confused enough to have you just do what they tell you to do because you're like, oh my God, I'm so confused. I don't even know what to think anymore. Just tell me what to do. And so I'm here to tell you to not do that. I'm here to be that voice of reason for you so we can keep you away from all of the insanity, right? So yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and as far as like what they're going to put in food, I mean, and these impossible burgers, I mean, just the way they're put together, it's horrible. And I think I tasted one once and I was like it tasted like meat texture wise. It was a little odd in texture. The flavor was okay. It was really salty. But I'm like, if you want meat, eat meat. Like, why are you going to eat something that's not meat if you want meat? That has always confused me. Um, Jen says the Harvard study included lasagna and sandwiches. Yeah, it's like it's just ridiculous. Um, Ron says, so yeah, the Soylent Green thing. Yep. Idaho Garden Girl says insects are mostly chitin. That's the same as fingernails. That's not going to be healthy food. Even if they load it with sugar, salt, and flavoring, it's not good. I remember years ago that they were trying to bring this to market. And they were saying that so you can buy like insect protein. So apparently it's like some high quality protein. I mean, years ago, a friend of mine sent me an article about it. And I was like, I'm not eating insects. Now, if I go pick kale from my garden and I wash it and somehow I end up eating a cabbage moth larva by accident, that's totally different. It's living in synergy with my garden. Of course, it's eating up all of my kale, but it's skeletonized a um, whole lot of plants out there. I did not see the sodium content, but why don't you look that up and tell us, Ron? Because I'm sure it's just something insane. Jen says Beyond Burgers are laying off over half of its workforce as sales of fake meat are way down in the last several months. And again, I keep saying we've got there's this push. They killed off was 170,000 cows over in Ireland to help with their environmental, right, the greenhouse gases. And again, but then we have rockets going up in the air. There's like 2 a week that they're putting rockets up in the air and putting up these, Elon Musk and the satellites, I forget what the satellites are called, but his goal is to put up over 100 rockets in 1 year, in this year. What is that doing to our environment? What is that doing to greenhouse gases? And they are probably saying that once it leaves the atmosphere, it dissipates. It doesn't even. Are you guys really buying that? Are we buying that? Like, let's go back to, it's a little Star Warsy, right? Nothing to see here. Move along. Nothing to see here. Like they'll tell you whatever they want. It's all a freaking lie. And we've seen that over the last 3 years that, you were I'm going to say you because I was not. I went kicking and screaming into that thing that happened 3 years ago, and I'm like, there's something bigger at play here. But a lot of people who were afraid of it bought into it, but then were like, wait, and then started to question. And that's what we were talking about last night on Gil's channel, was that um, you don't need to be a scientist, and you don't have to have the answers to question. So when you hear ridiculous things like eating meat causes type 2 diabetes, then ask the question, why? Where's that coming from? And again, you don't have to be a scientist, and you don't have to have the question, you don't have to have the answers. You just have to be able to ask good questions and try to connect dots on things when something doesn't actually make sense to you. Ingesting one random aphid does not qualify as eating insects. Thank you, Idaho Garden Girl. I appreciate it. Well, and also think about the microbes. I mean, when you're out in your garden and I'm out in my garden and we're picking things, like I'm eating from my garden. I'm sure you're doing the exact same thing. We are eating beneficial bugs, beneficial microbes that, again, are living in synergy with our environment. And those microbes help the microbes in our bodies to function properly. But yeah, I'm not going to eat these freaking outside bugs. No, thank you. And you darn better tell me that it's in my food. But I guarantee you there's going to be some loophole where they do not have to share with you what is in the food. Hey, Dr. Jen, thanks so much for coming. Appreciate you being here. Bill says nothing worse than a farting cow. Right? Yeah. I'd rather have farting cows than a million rockets going up into the sky, I think. Yeah. Yeah, Jen, you could just post memes in the comments. 398 milligrams of sodium per burger. Holy moly. Yeah, they have to load it with, and that's just straight sodium, right? They're not using like high quality Redmond sea salt or anything like that. They're just using straight up sodium in there. So nothing good at all. All right. Wow. It is 7:19. Great chat today, you guys. Listen, if there's anything in particular you want me to cover, any questions you have, my email and all of my contact information is in the about section on my channel. Please, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you could please go share my channel. Garden State Gardener and Campatton Family Compound and Grayman Prepping have been so gracious in having me on their programs. And that's actually really helped the subscribership, but it's also a really great community of people. So if you or someone would like to do an interview, let me know. I'm up for it. So look for next Thursday. I'm going live with Dr. Erica Peabody at 1:00. And then I think I'm going to go live Tuesday. I got a friend coming to the office. She's my Metagenics rep, and we always talk nutrition. So I told her the next time she came that we needed to do a podcast. So we'll probably go live. I've done a couple podcasts with her that are just regular videos, but I think we're going to go live. So I think that'll be fun. We'll probably do that on Tuesday around like 1 or 2. Okay. So wait. We got one question. Best way to ingest, is that supposed to say ingest oregano oil for good health? That is a great question. Hold on. I'm going to tell you how here. So oregano oil can be really caustic, and meaning like it can burn the mucous membranes. So you could put it in water, and back to end. Here we go. But this is what I prescribe for people when they have any sort of gut issue, candida. Everybody should have a bottle of this on their shelves. All through the winter. This is the best. It's antiviral. It's antimicrobial. It is it's called Candibactin AR, and it has in it thyme oil, oregano, sage, and lemon balm. And it's high. If you have a little bottle of essential oils, you'll never get to the dose that is in these capsules. So get a bottle of that, keep it on deck. If you start feeling sick, or if you need to do like a candida cleanse, let me know. That's like um, probably a 6 week process. Depends on how bad the candida is, but it can be a 6 to 8 week process. But if you just start getting like a scratchy throat, start feeling sick, I would start taking that for a few days to be able to start to kill that virus off. It's one of my favorite products. So many patients using it. Um, um, yeah, her husband. Yeah, no, not married. No, no, and yeah, so we're a force to be reckoned with, she and I. I was gonna call our podcast two hot docs, and then on the thumbnail it looked like two hot dogs, and I'm like, okay, no, it's chiropractic is sexy. So I think we have a pretty good face for chiropractic. Yeah. You like the burn? No, no, don't do that. Because you actually can damage your the lining of your esophagus. So yeah, you don't want to do that. Yes, I'm glad you said that. So, I mean, it's like hot sauce, right? We like the burn. Yeah. Yes. Yes. She's my girl. I know. I know. When we go out together, it's quite a scene. We're like the single girl posse. Everybody's like, "Why are you girls single?" I'm like, no, lots of stories behind that. So, okay, no more questions. Urban gardening. Thank you so much for being here. I sure do. I sure do appreciate you being here so much. And it's nice to have you on this channel. I always love seeing new faces. Laura, thank you so much for coming on and gracing us with your presence. Thank you, everybody, again for being on and supporting the channel. Watch for us this week. And I'll be on Gil's channel next Saturday at 8 o'clock because, that's what I do on a Saturday night. So 8 p.m. Eastern. On Campatton Family Compound, as well as Gray Man Prepping. So I'll make sure I drop that link. So join us there. And yeah, I think that's all the things. So thank you guys for showing up. I love you so much and appreciate you being here so we can get this channel up and running and give you the truth about health and wellness. So have an amazing rest of your day. If you're so inclined, jump on over to Garden State Gardener. I think I'm going to jump in there and say hi to some people. He's got a super fun Sunday fun day is what he calls it. So jump on over to Garden State Gardener and maybe I'll see you over there. All right. See you guys. Take care. See you, Kenny. Bye.